Okay, so some things to remember. What is responsible for linking a first messenger to a second messenger? G protein. What links the first messenger to a second messenger? G protein. What links the first messenger to a second messenger? G protein. What are some examples of second messengers? Cyclic AMP and calcium. What are examples of second messengers? Cyclic AMP and calcium. What links the first messenger with second messenger? G protein. What type of organic compound makes up a cell membrane receptor? Protein. What type of organic compound makes up a cell membrane receptor? Protein. Hormones bind to blank on the cell membrane. Protein receptors. Hormones bind to blank on the cell membrane. Protein receptors. Hormones bind to blank on the cell membrane. Protein receptors. Does this occur during a first messenger system only or a second messenger system? Second. Remember, protein receptors are only used with second messengers. Protein receptors are only used with what? Second messengers. What are protein receptors used with? Second messengers. What are protein receptors used with? Second messengers. Hormones. The first hormone binds to a what? Protein receptor. What does the first hormone bind to? Protein receptor. The protein receptor activates a what? G protein. What does protein receptor activate? G protein. What links the first messenger to the second messenger? G protein. When a hormone binds to the receptor on the cell membrane, it both activates and inactivates the G protein. An activated G protein will increase or decrease cyclic AMP levels, both depending on the type of hormone, okay? Usually it increases, but it can do both, okay? So this, you can see, we have an increase, on the left side, we have an increase in cyclic AMP, and this is a decrease. That's why it's both, okay? Definitely know these questions, guys. Definitely know these questions in the box. True or false? Activation of adenylate cyclase converts ATP to cyclic AMP. True. What enzyme is responsible for converting ATP to cyclic AMP? I just want to make this larger for you guys so you can see it. What enzyme is responsible for converting ATP to cyclic AMP? Adenylate cyclase. What is responsible for converting ATP to cyclic AMP? Adenylate cyclase. When you increase cyclic AMP levels, does that open ion channels? Yes. When you increase cyclic AMP inside the cell, does that open ion channels? Yes. Does it activate enzymes? Yes. What are the two functions of cyclic AMP when they increase? Opens ion channels and activates enzymes. What are the two functions of cyclic AMP? Opens ion channels and activates enzymes. Is cyclic AMP a second messenger? Yes. Is cyclic AMP a second messenger? Yes. What's the function of cyclic AMP? Opens ion channels and activates enzymes. What enzyme converts ATP to cyclic AMP? Adenylate cyclase. What converts ATP to cyclic AMP? Adenylate cyclase. What converts cyclic AMP into AMP? PDE. What converts cyclic AMP to AMP? PDE. What converts cyclic AMP to AMP? PDE. What enzyme converts cyclic AMP to AMP? PDE. What converts cyclic AMP to AMP? PDE. Does PDE decrease cyclic AMP levels inside the cell or increase or decrease cyclic AMP levels? It decreases. PDE decreases or increases cyclic AMP levels in the cell? Decreases. Because look, it's taking, just so that you know this, and just to review, cyclic AMP is being broken down, which means you're not going to have as many. Cyclic AMP is broken down into AMP. So if it's being broken down, you're going to get less cyclic AMP in the cell. It's not going to be as many. What enzyme is responsible for doing that? PDE. Okay. What is responsible for activating adenylate cyclase? G protein. What activates adenylate cyclase? G protein. What activates adenylate cyclase? G protein. What activates PDE? G protein. What activates PDE? G protein. If you decrease cyclic AMP levels, does that decrease or increase enzyme activity? Decreases it. So decreased cyclic AMP should be lowercase c. Decreased cyclic AMP causes a decrease in enzyme activity. Increased cyclic AMP causes an increase in enzyme activity. Okay. Is calcium a second messenger? Yes. Is cyclic AMP a second messenger? Yes. Is calcium a second messenger? Yes. Is cyclic AMP a second messenger? Yes. Can G protein use calcium as a second messenger? Yes. What links a first messenger to a second messenger? G protein. What links a first messenger to a second messenger? G protein. Does activation of G protein increase or decrease intracellular levels of calcium? Increases. Okay? So activation of G protein increases calcium. What does activation of G protein do? Increase calcium. What does activation of G protein do? Increase calcium. What causes an increase of calcium? Activation of G protein. Does an increase in calcium increase or decrease enzymatic activity? Decrease. Okay? So increase calcium, decrease enzyme activity. Okay? Let's put act. Increase calcium, decrease enzyme. Increase calcium, decrease enzyme. Repeat after me. Increase calcium, decrease enzyme. Increase calcium, decrease enzyme. Increase calcium, decrease enzyme. Those little tricks help, guys. This is what I do normally in my classes. I repeat things over a million times. And the little tricks, the little hooks, little songs that I come up with, like I just did there, helps us remember. Think about it. You practice every day. You listen to music on remembering rhymes and remembering songs. Okay? So if we can use that here, it'll help us. And I've used it before because there's research to back up that this works. It's not just something that's coming randomly. This actually works. Okay. Next. Do steroid hormones and thyroid hormones use a second messenger? No. So which hormones do not use a second messenger? Thyroid hormones and steroid hormones. So do steroid hormones use a second messenger? No. Do thyroid hormones use a second messenger? No. Does T3 use a second messenger? No. The reason T3 does not is because T3 is a what? Thyroid hormone. What about T4? Does T4 use a second messenger? No, it does not. Where do steroid hormones bind? To the nucleus. Where are receptors for steroids? Nucleus. We could also say DNA. So if I said, are there steroid receptors in the nucleus? You'd say yes. If I say, are there steroid hormones in DNA? You'd say yes. Now, it's not going to be that simple, okay, because obviously this is college level. But if I said to you, where is a receptor for steroid hormones? You could say the nucleus. You could also say DNA, okay? Do steroids increase transcription translation? Yes. Do steroids increase transcription translation? Yes. Transcription translation is involved in what? Protein synthesis. What is transcription translation involved in? Protein synthesis. So, do steroids act on the nucleus? Yes. Do they act on the DNA? Yes. Do they increase transcription translation? Yes. Do they increase protein synthesis? Yes. So if I said to you, what hormone is responsible for activating protein synthesis? You could say what? Steroids. If I said to you, what hormone is responsible for stimulating protein synthesis? What could you say? Steroids. What hormone is responsible for stimulating protein synthesis? Steroids. What hormone has receptors in the nucleus? Steroids. What hormone has receptors on DNA and the nucleus? Steroids. What hormone is responsible for increasing transcription and translation? Steroids. Where are receptors for steroids? Nucleus and DNA. Where are receptors for steroids? Nucleus and DNA. What hormone stimulates protein synthesis directly? Protein synthesis. What hormone is responsible for stimulating protein synthesis? Steroid hormones. What hormone is responsible for transcription and translation? Steroids. Where is the receptor for thyroid hormone? Mitochondria. Where's the thyroid hormone receptor? Mitochondria. Where's the thyroid hormone receptor? Mitochondria. Do thyroid hormones increase ATP production? Yes. Do thyroid hormones increase ATP production? Yes. Do they increase metabolism? Yes. And you remember that from above. So do thyroid hormones stimulate the mitochondria? Yes. Are there receptors for thyroid hormone on the mitochondria? Yes. Are there receptors for thyroid hormone on the mitochondria? Yes. Are there receptors for T3 and T4 on the mitochondria? Yes. Because remember, thyroid hormones are what? T3 and T4. What are the receptors What receptors are found in the mitochondria? Those for what? T3 and T4. T3 and T4, are they thyroid hormones? Yes. Are T3 and T4 thyroid hormones? Yes. Do thyroid hormones increase ATP production? Yes. Do thyroid hormones increase ATP production? Yes. Do thyroid hormones increase metabolism? Yes. Do thyroid hormones have receptors on the mitochondria? Yes. Do thyroid hormones attach to the mitochondria? Yes. Attaching to receptor, attaching, it's all the same thing, guys. Thyroid hormones, do they increase ATP production? Yes. Do thyroid hormones increase ATP production? Yes. The hypothalamus, okay, is responsible for producing releasing hormones and inhibiting hormones, okay? Oxytocin and ADH and neurons that go to the medulla. Definitely know this, guys. TQ this. Now this means whenever I write TQ, or you should write TQ, whenever you think there's a good chance there's going to be a test question. And then think about it, the night before you're about to take the test, you're probably going to have a lot of anxiety. My suggestion is go over the things that are TQs, because those are the things that you are like the last minute study things that you want to make sure you definitely have. Now, I don't want to say you wait to the last minute to study it. You want to study this early, but the TQs are there so that you say, okay, these are the things I definitely have to know for the test. Okay? So are there neurons that go from the hypothalamus to the adrenal medulla? Yes. Okay? Don't worry about this and this and this and this. Don't worry about that. Okay? Next. Thyroid releasing hormones. Okay? Thyroid releasing hormones are produced by the what? Hypothalamus. Corticotropin releasing hormones are produced by the what? Hypothalamus. GnRH, which stands for gonadotropin releasing hormone, is produced by the what? Hypothalamus. Are they all releasing hormones? Yes. Here's RH, RH, and RH. TRH stimulates the production of blank hormone in the anterior pituitary, TSH. CRH stimulates what? ACTH. What does TRH stimulate? TSH. What does CRH stimulate? ACTH. What does GnRH stimulate? FSH and LH. Notice it spells flat. F-L-A-T. Okay, so the releasing hormones stimulate what? Flat. What do the releasing hormones stimulate? Flat. What do the releasing hormones stimulate? Flat. Next. Where is flat found? Remember, anterior pituitary. Okay. TSH stimulates what gland? Thyroid gland. What does TH stimulate? TSH stimulate? Thyroid gland. What does TSH stimulate? Thyroid gland. Thyroid gland produces what hormones? Thyroid hormones. What are the thyroid hormones? T3 and T4. ACTH stimulates what? Adrenal cortex. Remember, adrenocortico. Cortico is cortex. Corticotropin hormone. ACTH stimulates the what? Adrenal cortex. What does the ACTH stimulate? Adrenal cortex. What does FSH stimulate? Testes and ovaries. What does LH stimulate? Testes and ovaries. Okay? Now, I'm not going to concern ourselves with this for this test. Okay? We're going to do that when we get to the reproductive system. But I do want you to know that the thyroid gland is going to produce what? T3 and T4. Are those the thyroid hormones? Yes. Adrenal cortex is going to produce glucocorticoids. What does adrenal cortex produce? Glucocorticoids. What does adrenal cortex produce? Glucocorticoids. Remember, cortico is in the word. So cortex is there. Glucocorticoids. Okay? What's the function of prolactin? Stimulate